Yes. Okay. So this portion is to talk about a credit hour calculator. We want this to be simple. It has turned out to be a pretty complicated, not supposed to be complicated, but it has become a complicated process on the back end of creating the actual spreadsheet. But what I want you to think about, big picture, is you want, at the end of the day, be documenting the hours of work your students are putting into your course. For every 3-credit course, the magic number is 135 hours worth of work for a 3-credit course. HLC's standard is 45 hours of contact time with content should equal 1 credit hour. So I think everybody in this room, except Erica and a couple of 1 and 0 credit classes, for a 3-credit class, the magic number is 135. So when you start to really think about what you do in class, all of the readings, all of the case studies and the PowerPoints you have them create, or stand up and give mini lessons and group work and outside class time, all of that counts, okay? So we have to document that our students are getting their money's worth, really. That's one piece of it, and the other piece of it is that a student who signs up for a 16-week face-to-face class is getting the same amount of attention as someone who maybe signed up for an 8-week class or an online class. So the magic number is 135, and David's going to show you how, when you get the link to this spreadsheet, how you're going to take your class or classes and add those numbers into the credit hour calculator, and this will be also a part of the master syllabus. Jim?
I guess we base this on the average student.
Well, yeah, I'll talk about that. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to beg to differ with Dr. Bishop here. This is probably the easiest part of the whole thing that we need to do. So don't be scared. Don't be scared. Sherry says it's not, but really, guys, it's really very simple. And what makes it simple for this group as opposed to some of the others is how well you got your assignments already documented in your syllabi. Most everybody has week 1, they're going to do this. Week 2, you're going to be doing that. That's all in there. So really, that is what you use from your syllabi to do this little exercise here. This is the Excel version of the credit hour calculators, version 10. You do not have them yet, but you will have them shortly when they email them to you, okay? You start up here at the top. The first thing you fill out is your course name. Now, this is mine. You probably can't see it. It's Introduction to General Chemistry. The course number is CHEM 113. It's 3 hours course credit. It's 16 weeks per term, okay? Now, everything you see that's in orange has a drop-down menu. You don't type anything there. When I click that and click it down, I have a choice of hybrid. Is it a lab course? Is it an online course? If it's traditional. Traditional typically means face-to-face, okay? So you could have had a face-to-face 16-week or a face-to-face 8-week. It could be online 16, online 8, etc. But that's where you do it, and that's the thing that it helps calculate. Now, lecture, the credit hour calculator, let me show you, is divided into four spaces. Lecture, writing task, reading task, other assignments, applied sciences, applied experiences. That's where education uses this the most. That's our administrative field experiences, our other field experiences, our practicums, and then labs, okay? So it's those 5 or 6 divisions. The first division is your lecture, face-to-face video, okay? This was a 16-week class. Typically, we say out of 16 weeks, we're going to do 15 lectures, okay? Or 45 lectures. 15 weeks, this is a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class. So 15 times 3 is 45 lectures. Lecture time, hours are 50 to 55 minutes. Put 1 for an hour. Just make it easy. You see over here then, when you enter 45 and I enter 1, it spits out. Like if I change this to 40, or 404 there, 40, 45, it spits out 40. So it automatically calculates things for you. So you don't really have to do the math. Okay? So if you have face-to-face, you could have a video lecture now. Okay? that you videoed a lecture that you're going to show, we just said, okay, you can put that under a video lecture, so to speak. Okay. Now the writing task. Here's a couple of things I'll explain as I go. The writing tasks are in here. There's essay, journaling, narratives, notebook, peer review, reflections, reports, research paper, resume, speeches, summary, term papers. Now, all these categories under writing, reading, assignments came from us pulling about 50 variety of syllabi last summer and just looking at the assignments and trying to put them all together. What we're asking for now is, if your assignment doesn't mesh 100%, pick the closest assignment. You know, pick the closest. Now, if you do run up with one and say, boy, y'all blew this. Doesn't at all, no way possible get close to any of these, let us know and we'll add it. Okay? But try to pick the closest one. Now, I do one essay in this class. Okay? It's number per term. In other words, it's an essay writing test, and I'm only doing one for the term. The average number of pages for this task is 6. I require them to do 4 to 6 pages. I picked the highest number of pages on this one. Now, here's another drop-down menu. You asked about student level. If it's a graduate course, you might want to pick above average student. If it's a remedial course like some of them are, you might pick remedial student. Most of us are going to pick average student. Now, the type of writing. We've got the type of writing divided into four areas. Personal, that's like your blogs, your discussion posts, things that they're just writing personally. Okay? Actually, I didn't say discussion posts. Discussion posts are not writing assignments. Remember that. Okay? Essay, poems, whatever it might be. Okay? So, in this particular writing is a scientific, technical writing. Okay? Average number of prep times. Now, this part here is only calculating the time it's writing. This came out of literature that we researched on the amount of time it takes to write or type. Now, that amount of time to write or type is just when they already have it done. And it's ready to be typed. It's not the prep time. It's not the research that Dr. Hoshin used to make me go and look at all the articles and then figure out which ones I'm going to use and all that. That goes in this column. I'm saying for them to get ready to write that 6-page essay, they're going to have 5 hours of prep time. That says that it's going to take them 5.6 hours of content clock time to make that assignment. Okay? Now, your reading task, we have them journals, magazines, newspapers, novels, and textbooks. I think we can probably make that match one of those 5. In my case here, it's textbooks. Chemistry textbooks. Now, some people are doing this several different ways, and I'll throw it out and I'll tell you why I did this one. Some of you say read chapter 1, week 1, chapter 2, 3, week 2. You can say here that it's an 8-week course and they're reading something 8 weeks. They're averaging about 45 pages a chapter, and that comes out. A lot of divisions have said no, and I like this, what I'm fixing to show you for education better. Because a lot of times we have more than one textbook in an education class. I know with Dr. Smith we had that good to great and the other one. So I'm saying, okay, and I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to say we have 2 textbooks, and roughly the average, one of them was 500 pages that we're required to read. One of them's 400, so the average is about 450 pages. Okay. Now then, average student reading. These are based on the research that's out there for reading levels for students. I'm going to say an average student. Now, in my case for chemistry, they're reading scientific technical journals. In most education classes, it's scientific technical journals they're reading. That's the type of book they're reading, okay? So it says now that tells me that's 81.8 hours is what this calculated as assignment's going to be. Don't worry about the numbers it says. Just they're there, okay? Then the assignments, okay? Now assignments, there are all sorts of things on here. There's exercises, which can talk about handouts. Whatever an exercise might do, that's pretty vague and broad, okay? Final exam, for instance, portfolios, modules, presentations, projects, quizzes, thesis research, viewing tasks, worksheets, whatever they are. In my particular class here, I have, that was supposed to be, let me go back so I don't get you confused. Where's exam? exam. Yeah, yeah. Exams, I have 3 exams, okay? The prep time for those 3 exams, I'm saying, is 1 hour for each exam. It's really not. We changed this to play on some of the other day. It takes about 2 hours of their prep time, study time for each exam I give, okay? Now, you say, how do you know? That's what I'm saying it takes the average student. Don't do like Dr. Brandt did, try to get so technical and precise that we were, you know, it's common knowledge. Just take it as it is. Final exam. Yes, I'm picking on you.
We never study 2 hours.
Okay. Final exam, I give 1. I think they study about 4 hours for that final exam. In my homework, now my homework is pre-assignments, post-assignments. They have 7 pre-assignments they're responsible for, 7 post-assignments. I lumped them into this one thing, 14 of them. Takes them about 2 hours to do them, on the average, 28 hours. Now, in this particular class, I have no applied experiences. But here's where you have your advisor meetings, community service, concerts, field, internships, interviews, physical exercise, practicums, productions, recitals, rehearsal time, service learning, all sorts of things in here, okay? And then the labs, now some people say, well, that's only for like chemistry labs. No, because we put it in here. If you look at the drop-down menu, you'll see there might be an auditory lab. If you're teaching Spanish, you might be requiring them to do some type of auditory lab. Generally speaking, I don't know of anywhere that you guys will use this one, okay? When I do my 1-hour chemistry lab classes or biology labs, that one sees a lot of use. So now I'll plug this in. Now go back up to the top. Right here on this side right here, it says your course has 177.2 hours. You're okay. Now actually when I put those 2 sets of textbooks reading in there, because if you show, I'll take that out because I really only do 1. And let's say it's 4 and 50. Okay, my course, 136.5 hours, I'm still okay. That's what you're looking at. Now, when we audited education, where we found the problem was where they didn't meet this number for 3 hours was online classes. Now, anybody tell me real quick why the online classes was maybe not meeting these? As opposed to, what? No lecture. Okay. So, you know, when it comes up and it doesn't meet it, go back and look. Make sure you have your assignments right. Do some soul searching on the time and see what it takes to massage. Yes?
So you're not really, the lecture part is really the part that's kind of identifying contact time, but you're not doing anything that says contact time in there.
I'm saying the contact meaning contact with content.
In other words, hours are actually in the classroom. You're talking about what they're doing.
Right. Right.
Rather than
right.
How much time, like that's right.
Right. Okay. Now, then after you finish this and you see you're okay, you click the little what they call that?
Display page.
Display page, that little legend down there, the tab down at the bottom. And then here's what you've got to do. Okay? Now look at me. You come down into this bottom section down here and you right click your mouse. This thing comes up. You see this refresh button? You've got to hit refresh for it to populate the U page. If you don't, it just keeps what you had before. That's the only little thing that you really have to remember. Then it updates all this information, and then what you do, this is the piece that you copy and insert into the master syllabi.
The last page of the master syllabi.
Last page. And the way you copy it is you just grab it. The easiest way for me to do it is highlight it, right-click it, hit copy, and then when you go to paste, you want the easiest one to paste by is under paste options, is paste as a picture, because then you don't have to worry about it formatting itself. It pastes perfectly. And then it also, nobody can do anything with it in the master. When you paste it as a picture, nobody can go in and change anything in the master on this one then. Okay? Now, here's the deal. One thing I want to explain to you. The lead instructors, and this is really going to be big in education. If it's a 16-week course, it gets a credit hour calculator for the 16 weeks. If you do that same course like EDUC over 8 weeks, EDUC 203, and it's an 8-week as well, there's a credit hour there's one of these sheets saying for the 8-week class. If it's